So, today we're going to talk about the difference between self concept and self esteem in the way that I think it gets a little confused and creates just kind of a cycle of not really getting the things that you want, right? So, it's like, let's say that you are saying, hey, man, I have been changing my state. I've changed the way that I'm talking to myself. I'm taking better care of myself. I'm doing all these things that I hear that I should be doing if I want to get like love in my life or I want to have wealth in my life. I'm talking to myself differently. But at the same time, you are becoming self aware to notice, but I still don't have the thing that I want. And I think this is where a lot of stuff gets really confused, right? Like a lot of times, I think people say, and myself included in the past, have said, well, you have to change your self concept, but I truly meant your self esteem. And self concept and self esteem are different. I had kind of an epiphany about this when I was reading the first chapter of Neville Goddard's The Power of Awareness. And he says everything depends upon its attitude towards itself. That which it will not affirm as true of itself cannot awaken in this world. That is, your concept of yourself, such as I am strong, I am secure, I am loved, determines the world in which you live. In other words, when you say, I am a man, I am a father, I am an American, you are not defining different I ams. You are defining different concepts or arrangements of the one cause substance, the one I am. And I know that when I first read this, I kind of was like, well, yeah, you have all of these things combined. But as I was going back through it again, I realized that you can actually have these as kind of grouping together. You don't have to think you are attractive and are loved by your spouse. You don't have to actually think that you are the most interesting person in the world and have a phenomenal relationship. You don't have to think that you are the world's greatest Pollyanna and you treat everybody so phenomenally and you work only from an ethical state point of view to have wealth. I think we can all look around in the world and see that there's many people who have these things that don't embody those self concepts, right? Like I know that I have known people who do not have the greatest self esteem, but their self concept is still that they are in a loving marriage. They may not think they're that attractive. They may not think that they're really all that great. And it may come out in other issues in life, right? It may be that it creates kind of some strife in their relationship or it creates, insecurities that they would prefer not to have within their relationship or their life, but that doesn't mean that their concept is not that they're with somebody. I also know others that have really great self esteem, right? They think they're wonderful, and they are. This isn't like, oh, they're just not self aware. They're absolutely wonderful people, but they have yet to find that love in their life. And it's because their focus is still on that lack. They're still seeing that they just don't have that. The abundance is not there. You can think very highly of yourself, but still not reflect some of those other things that you want in life. So, in other words, your self esteem and your self concept are actually two different things. And I'm not here to say, oh, you should just like consider to be rude to yourself and not talk to yourself nicely if you want a specific person or wealth or a certain job or certain university. But I am saying that you don't have to condition yourself as worthy, as deserving, as the most attractive person in the world, the, most interesting person in the world. You don't have to condition your I am as those things to have a loving relationship. You can actually continue to work on yourself within that relationship. You can build your self-esteem in that relationship. And look, I get it. I see a lot of creators, and this definitely happens. Like, and you can talk to relationship coaches about this. If you have really poor self-esteem, you are likely to see some issues bubble up from that within your relationship. But the fact of the matter still is that you can think highly of yourself. You can treat yourself well. You can talk about yourself well and still notice and still condition your I am as single and unable to find somebody. You can be someone who doesn't maybe present themselves all the time in the ethical, I don't know why this is such a struggle, most ethical ways and still have a very successful business. You can have the all the ethics in the world and think you are deserving of every last dollar in the world, but still notice that it's not there in your life. And that's what I'm saying. Your awareness, your state of being needs to also align with the actual thing that you want. Now, again, I want to make sure I'm very clear. Having good self esteem, talking to yourself nicely, treating yourself well, doing things for your own personal happiness is going to do nothing but good things for you in the world. And eventually, yes, that could tie together to having the relationship. You can work on those beliefs and make that, part of your conditioned I am, but it's not a prerequisite. And so that's why when you see people, and I get this question a lot where it's like, well, everybody's saying I need to work on my self concept, and be kinder to myself and have more self love. But then I see, my friend who is in this phenomenal relationship with this man who just thinks she's wonderful and loves her and supports her through her personal growth journeys, but she thinks she's completely unattractive. She thinks that she's boring and uninteresting and honestly thinks all the time, like, why is this person even with me? I don't understand why this person even likes me. It's because you can have both. You can condition your I am for both. So I hope that that makes sense. If it doesn't, or if you have any questions or comments, I would absolutely love to hear from you. Please leave those down in the comments below. If you like this type of content, please make sure to subscribe. And then also, there's going to be a link that's going to pop up here any minute for another video that I recommend you watching if you enjoyed this one. It's called The Trick to Turn Your Desires into Reality. And the whole premise of the video is how to start to align yourself to the person that you want to be so that you can have the personal growth and the things truly in life that you want to have and actually change your self concept along with your self esteem. So I wish you nothing but the best, and I hope that you found this helpful.